Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Sean and today I am doing a writing update for the month of March. So I have not posted many book reviews recently because I have been busy writing. That's the way I am. If I'm not writing, I'm reading. If I'm not reading, I'm writing. This past month I've been working on the second draft of Ottoman Destiny, which is the fourth book in the Trevor Knight series. The first book, German Derelict, hate that book. Egyptian Demise, second book. Syrian Dander, third book. So I don't want to go into details, this is just going to be a short video, but I have two prologues in Ottoman Destiny, and one of them I created just for this draft. I thought I had actually previously written this. It's the fall of, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Constantinople? Constantinople? I don't know. But I thought I had written that before, but apparently I didn't, so I wrote that second prologue all from scratch. Something with that prologue chapter is there are like 7 point of view characters in that prologue, and that's a bit much to be throwing at readers. And also the prologue, that chapter, has very much almost like a history book feel. So I do know I need to do some kind of work on that prologue especially. One thing I am considering doing when I get to the third draft is having, instead of like 7 point of view characters, having only 2 main point of view characters, a Byzantine character and an Ottoman character, and everything be seen through their eyes. But I don't know. So I do know I need to do some kind of work on that chapter. Oh, I forgot to mention, I am currently 50 chapters in on the book. The first draft had 100 chapters, so I am at the halfway point, and I am in Act 3 of 4 currently. As far as the first chapter goes, the main thing that I had to do in terms of rewriting is focus a lot more on point of view. This is something I've never really cared about too much, point of view, because I just figured like, well, readers can tell which character this is referring to whenever I'm writing a scene. And so what I would tend to do is I'd jump around point of views, and I didn't really think it mattered. But what I'm trying to do now is for whichever character I think is the main character of a chapter, I tend to have them just be the point of view character and everything be through their eyes. The reader doesn't get to know what other characters may be thinking or other characters' backstories if that point of view character does not know those details. So we only get information through the main point of view character of each scene or each chapter. One thing that does is it helps cut down on like unnecessary scenes, like where I just switch to another character and just start talking all about them. If it's not related to the first character, the point of view character, it ultimately doesn't matter at this point. It can either come later or it can just get cut. Another thing that you can do by having very limited point of view is you see what the main character, character A, let's say, thinks about character B. So you don't just tell readers character B's whole history. You only tell them what character A thinks about them. And that reveals information about character A, and it can also reveal information about character B, possibly misleading information which is later contradicted in later scenes. Or if you like switch to character B's point of view later, then you can find out character A was actually wrong about them. So anyway, I just realized now you could do a lot with point of view that I didn't really think about before. So that's definitely a focus of this draft, is having much more limited point of view for the whole book. There are a lot of point of view characters. I mean, there are at least like 8 or 10 like major storyline characters. So lots of points of view, but for each chapter, I try to have it stick to just the one person through their eyes only. So Act 1 of the book was pretty messy, so I had to do a lot of revisions there in terms of point of view. That was the main focus of Act 1. Act 2 was not so bad because there were only really 2 characters and I didn't have much problem with point of view there. So the main thing with Act 2 is I thought I would have to do a lot of like revisions, because my impression of writing the first draft was that Act 2 felt like just really lazily written. Like I just kind of just typed out whatever. I didn't think about it too much. I just wrote. And so I thought, well, the writing was pretty horrible in Act 2 here. I was just lazy. But It's actually not that bad, and it fits my style because now I kind of have more of a minimalist style. I do not much like description in novels, so actually what I wrote for Act 2 was pretty good. I didn't have to make too much changes to the writing. In fact, I think I wrote or edited whatever all of Act 2 in about a day or two, and it's around 15, maybe 20 chapters, but it's real easy to just burn through those chapters. Finally, Act 3, I'm only about 6 chapters in on it, maybe. Act 3, I already know has to have some pretty significant rewrites. One thing that happens is I think a lot of the action came across as forced, like manufactured tension, like, okay, I need to have this plot development now, so it's happening. And I just felt not much of an emotional connection with it. And if I, as the writer, do not feel emotional connection with the scene, with the story, neither will readers. So what I basically have done so far is I took about the first, well, not the first 6 chapters, but I took about 6 chapters of Act 3, and I took the very best moments of those chapters, like things that I definitely want to keep, and basically just reordered the whole thing and rewrote it, keeping just a few of those scenes from those few chapters. So basically 6 chapters was completely reorganized, and I made it into about 2 chapters. Ultimately, they were just unnecessary scenes. I didn't like them. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't add anything significant to the characters. They were basically just giving different characters screen time. And if it's not contributing to the story and you don't need to know this information to follow these characters, it's just unnecessary scenes. So I just got rid of them. Now, where I'm at in Act 3 is Turkey invades Cyprus, and what I originally had was it cuts to different characters like Turkish naval captains and Greek naval captains to show you like the start of this war. And ultimately, I think it doesn't really matter because these characters do not appear in like 2 or 3 chapters. They're done, they're gone. They served their purpose. And so kind of what I think is I don't really want to have these chapters introducing these characters who are only going to be there for that 1 chapter or 2 chapters. They're ultimately irrelevant characters. And if I introduce them now, readers are going to think, oh, here's another new character I have to remember. But you don't have to remember them. They're going to be gone in a chapter. So they are kind of unimportant. So what I'm trying to do right now is to rewrite the book to basically cut those chapters out or have those scenes only from the main character's point of views. There are already enough point of view characters in this book, so I don't really want to be adding more characters now who are really irrelevant characters. It'd be much better to just keep the point of view limited with the main characters. As a result, you're not going to get backstory on these characters. Pretty much the main characters are just going to bump into them and be like, oh, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to help you. And readers aren't going to know who these characters are really because, again, they're just unimportant. And by saying unimportant, I mean I just don't think you need like 2-3 pages trying to flesh out these characters and give their backstory when they're not going to have a storyline of themselves and they're not going to really pay off for any other storyline. It's just they're in there for 1 scene, and do I really need to have them in that scene? Why can't I just have it be through the main character's point of view? Anyway, I don't know if that makes sense, but basically I am having to rewrite the start of this war really completely, kind of. Just keeping it with the main characters and rewriting those side characters out and figuring out just how to approach it now differently. Another thing I hinted at was that the plot felt very forced at that point. It felt manufactured. Basically, the bad guys in the book are just kind of like, haha, we're evil, so we're going to do bad things. And it just comes across weak to me. So I want to rewrite that and not necessarily make them more likable or anything, but have their decisions make more sense. Not just them being, haha, I'm going to do bad things now because the story needs it. So anyway, that's where I'm currently at on the book. I've been working on it for about a month, so a month for 50 chapters, halfway through with the book, so hopefully I will finish it within another month. Overall, I am pretty happy with the book, so there's not much I think I'll need to do for revisions for the third draft. I think I'm pretty close to just being to the point where I can just start editing the book. And I will really begin that process with the fourth draft. So the third draft, when I get to it, is just going to be kind of touching up any holes I missed, adding description wherever I think it needs it, cutting scenes, reordering scenes if I feel it needs it, possibly coming up with a new chapter, but really, I don't think there'll be too much work to do for the third draft. Once the third draft is done, that kind of starts the ticking clock, because I will order a copy of the book just like these, and I will edit it with a red pen, and I'll do that for the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th draft. Each draft like that takes around a month to do for both the revisions in the book and then making the changes in my computer and ordering another book. All in all, really, it takes about 2 months per draft at that point. So when I get to the 4th draft, it's kind of like a countdown starts. 4th draft, 2 months, 5th draft, 2 months, so on. And then eventually publish the book. So just as like a real loose estimate, I am guessing Ottoman Destiny may be ready to publish around June of next year, 2024. I kind of like publishing the Trevor Knight books around June or August. I don't know the exact dates I publish them, but that just seems like Trevor Knight book dates to me, June or August. Anyway, that is it. I'm real happy with the progress I've made on Ottoman Destiny so far. Birds. Halfway in, hopefully finish it within a month. That's it. I'm sorry if you're just here for book reviews and don't care at all about my writing. It's just I haven't been reading recently because I've been focused on writing. So hopefully within a month, when I finish Ottoman Destiny, I'll be more in a reading mood then. So that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.